Chicago. Rome J here, cultural correspondent for the TRiiBE and host of TRiiBE TV show, We Real Chicago. Welcome to episode 3. Glad to have everybody join us. And right now, it's time for the Rome J Report, a rundown of this week's news headlines in the arts and entertainment world. First up, Navy Pier will close its doors until next spring to save money, according to a written release. After closing in March due to COVID and reopening in June, the pier says it's had less than 20% of its summer crowd. Navy Pier usually receives 9 million visitors per year. The temporary closure will begin on Tuesday, September 8th. Our forever First Lady, Michelle Obama, kicked off day one of the Democratic National Convention this week. Her speech was inspirational and a call to action, and as usual, she didn't hold back. Let's hear a clip of what Mrs. Obama had to say.
Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country. He has had more than enough time to prove that he can do the job, but he is clearly in over his head. He cannot meet this moment. He simply cannot be who we need him to be for us. It is what it is.
First Lady said it is what it is. Vic Mensa dropped some new heat last week. His new single, No More Teardrops, speaks to this current moment in the movement for Black lives. The single is from Mensa's forthcoming album, Reprise. Now, folks are asking for a joint Vic Mensa and Chance the Rapper album after seeing the pair in the studio together this week. I guess we'll have to wait and see what they come up with. In the meantime, we'll add No More Teardrops to our Black Lives Matter playlist on YouTube. If you guys haven't checked that out, go ahead and check it out and let us know what you guys think. Now, this message is for Chicago youth educators, youth music groups, and ensembles. The city is inviting you to apply to receive support through a new program curated by the Chicago Arts Partnerships in Education. The program is called the Chicago Youth Music Exchange Project, and the goal of the Music Exchange Project is to connect young musicians through performance and feedback sessions and to build relationships between Chicago youth across different neighborhoods, cultures, music genres, and backgrounds. For more information, be sure to visit bit.ly/YOCM Exchange. Chicago DJ Terry Hunter celebrated the Big 5-0 in grand fashion as he hosted a virtual 2-day house music celebration. Hunter is one of the chosen few DJs who are the pioneers of Chicago house. If you're in the mood for some house music, you can find DJ Terry's live sets on Facebook at DJ Terry Hunter. All right, now Southside native Nate Marshall's latest book of poetry, Finna, hit the stands last week. Marshall is an assistant professor of English at Colorado College, an award-winning author, editor, and poet. He released his first book of poems entitled Wild Hundreds in 2015, which received critical acclaim and was selected to win the Poetry Book of the Year award by the Black Caucus of the American Library Association and the Great Lakes Colleges Association New Writers Award. According to a publisher's summary, Finna explores the erasure of peoples in the American narrative, ask how gendered language can provoke violence, and finally, how the Black vernacular expands our notions of possibility, giving us a new language of hope. We caught up with Nate yesterday. Here's a quick clip of our conversation. The title, Finna.
Yeah.
Growing up, every Black kid was probably told that's not a real word. So just when you decide to make that the title of the book, what was the thought process behind that, Nate?
Yeah. I mean, one thing I think is like just a little bit of a flex, like, because I think so many of us have this like kind of fraught relationship to the word where it was a thing that people tried to sort of correct out of our language. Mm-hmm. Even folks who would also sort of engage in that language. And so I think it's a little bit of a flex to be like, yeah, I'm a writer and I'm a professor and I say it's a word. So it's a, but I think beyond that, right, the thing I really love about the word Finna, right, is that it's undeniably Black. It's undeniably Southern in its way. It is absolutely this word that is about everything next, right? Like inside of it sits a kind of optimism that you just have to reckon with, right? And it also, I think like the project of that reclamation of the word, of saying like, no, this is a word, this is us, is I think a kind of self-definition that Black folks stay doing, like in this country certainly, and stay being in the meat of doing, right? Because we want to figure out ways to turn away from these sort of like white definitions of success and power and whatever, and create our own way of thinking through the world.
Stay tuned for a special performance by Nate Marshall later on in the show, and I actually think we're going to upload that the entire interview later to our YouTube page. Make sure you guys subscribe to YouTube so you can stay in tune with everything the Tribe. Tonight's Shylight segment is taking a deeper look at how COVID has impacted the movers and shakers in Chicago's arts and entertainment scene. Chicago is known for its parties and live entertainment events. These events are one of the main sources of income for up-and-coming entrepreneurs and artists. COVID pandemic has limited that. Meanwhile, celebrities are using platforms like Instagram to reminisce about their old projects and even host concerts. Shout out to the Instagram versus battles that we've all been enjoying. Local event planners are finding ways to adapt to the times. This weekend, Black Chicago-based promoters Afrotrack, Civilized Lifestyle, and Sigma Chris will host a drive-in music festival at Soldier Field. Your boy Rome J will be in attendance. Last month, the city announced a $700 billion budget shortfall due to COVID. Music and social events like Lollapalooza, Pitchfork, and the Taste of Chicago are major sources of income. Canceling the in-person experiences of each one hit the city deep in its pockets. According to a Chicago Tribune report, Lollapalooza brings the city $6 million each year and has an overall local economic impact of $245 million. How much of an impact has COVID had on folks who contribute to Chicago's art and entertainment scene? Here to tell us more is Rae Chardonnay Taylor. Rae is a co-founder of Party Noir, DJ, arts administrator, and events planner. Tony Cartel. Tony is a recording artist, art enthusiast, and creative entrepreneur. And last but not least, Sam Trump will be joining us, a multi-instrumentalist and singer-songwriter panel. Thank you guys for joining us so much. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well. Doing well. Thanks for having me.
No problem, guys. And it's always like I'm getting used to doing the panel thing with the Zoom. It's like we all don't know like when to speak. I introduce you guys. Everybody says hey at the same time. We're all still getting used to COVID and everything. And before we dive into today's discussion, I just like to say, of course, this moment in time is just unprecedented, guys. Is there a song? And all you guys are in your own right musicians. Is there a song created by any Chicago artist you guys can think of that demonstrates what we're experiencing with respect to police brutality and social justice? And anybody, guys, jump in. Anybody can speak to that. We'll go Sam first.
I say everything Rick Wilson right now.
Okay. I'm hip with the Rick Wilson joint.
Go ahead, Tony.
No, I mean, I still just been trying to catch like Chicago vibes, like through maybe like some of the old Common projects and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like directly like what's going on, but the mood of it, you know.
All right, most definitely, Rae.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little behind on some of the newer stuff, but I feel like Jamila Woods has always made something that spoke to a timeless energy in Chicago, be it an uprising or a moment where we all just loving on each other. So Jamila is probably what is speaking to me right now.
Dope. Now let's just get straight into it, guys. All you guys are musicians, artists. Everybody wants to know, like, what are artists? Let me know. You can only speak for yourself. How are artists making money? How has COVID impacted the ability for artists to make money? Tony, please.
I mean, speaking from a hip hop standpoint, like rap it already was kind of like tough as an independent artist because you got to like invest a lot. So for me personally, I can't sit here and say I was making a ton of money off music anyway. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but what you were doing, mainly the game plan was to try to like book shows, sell tickets and then sell merchandise. But that's out the window. So really, you just got to focus on the streaming and drawing people to your website to try to get them to, maybe support you with buying some type of merchandise or whatever you got going on. But all of those things, well, I saw a spike in like streaming, but it's not really a livable, income for real. So I had to get creative.
And Tony, speaking of creative, I feel like all of you guys are like kind of trendsetters. All of you guys are extremely unique and extremely gifted when I think it comes to marketing your own music. But Tony, you more specifically, like the NBA, for example, has returned, but some players have opted out. Reason being, they don't want any attention that they may cause to take away from social justice.
Right.
Do you guys feel that there's maybe pressure to release music about police brutality or content relevant to social justice? Guys, jump in, please. Tony.
I definitely. Oh, go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Go ahead, Rae.
No, I was just gonna say that personally, I don't feel pressured to release anything that speaks to the time. I feel like because of just who I am and how I function, I'm constantly speaking to something like an uprising or what it feels like and looks like to be a Black person in Chicago. And I think that, it's not really fair to put that kind of pressure on people, especially Black artists right now, because we have so many other ways that we want to express and release. And while, some people have their opinions on being an artist that speaks to the times, a lot of us have been speaking to the times since we've been artists. And so, having to single out a moment to further engulf ourselves in this moment, like in this time, is just sometimes it's a little stressful, and you want to just not necessarily step back, but find another way to express without necessarily engaging everything that's constantly in your face.
I want to go to Sam, and then I want to go to Tony. Sam?
Yes, I agree with all the things that have been said. I know for sure when the George Floyd incident happened, I definitely stepped back and allowed myself to just process all the things that were happening. But I didn't want to, be in the way of all the information that was given out regarding protests, regarding organizing, and also the conversation, the important conversation that needed to be had. But I did in May, I did do this series called The Midnight Hour on Facebook. And it was all about just trying to connect more so. It wasn't about, wanting to make money. I didn't ask for tips at all, actually. But it was about just, me missing the stage. I've been a full-time artist for the last 6 years. So just missing the stage and missing the interaction that comes along with it. And yeah, so that's my ministry. That was a big part of what I've been doing during quarantine. It's just really just kind of spreading, putting out positive vibes. There's so much negativity and hate and anger and rage and all that happening. But so I was just doing my part and bringing some balance to it.
And Sam, you mentioned your Midnight Hour series. We're going to get to that, and we're going to talk to you about some other things as well, Sam. Tony, now, and all you guys make different music respectively. Tony, in your line of music, I mean, we're talking about rap, street music. Right. Do you feel like, and this is a spin on the original question, do you feel like there are guys, and this is whether it be Chicago or more mainstream artists, do you feel like there are artists that are kind of milking or benefiting off of the movement? I mean, we see people who are now talking about police brutality, who, if I play devil's advocate, have never talked about police brutality before. Do you see that happening in the industry now, maybe to gain views or whatever?
Yeah, I definitely have seen that. And just to, I agree with everything that was said before. Like, like you shouldn't feel pressure to make anything. And my music, I've been touching on this type of topics for like since I started. But to get to the direct question of what you're saying, yeah, I've seen artists try to take advantage of it. Like especially mainstream artists. You're seeing the topics change and like kind of what some of the videos have been trying to portray. Like now the jury coming off, and it's a slippery slope because you don't want this whole thing to turn into just like a wave or like a trend. And so I think those artists in those positions really got to be careful. I know, everybody's still trying to make a living, but it's you know what I'm saying? You don't want to accidentally sell out, And but to be fair to some artists, maybe they are like waking up a little bit, because it's been a tremendous shift lately, like with COVID and then with all the protests. So I try not to take too much credit away from it, and I hope it's coming from an authentic place. But some of the stuff really is, blatant that you can see them like just trying to ride a wave, I guess, and it's not really that,
Did any of you guys have anything to add to that?
Yes, I was thinking that too. It is kind of a slippery slope. I definitely agree, because there are many cases where I've seen a question arise on social media. Who are leaders? And, I know there's some people who feel entertainers are, and some who feel they aren't. But in one breath, we may say, well, where are the entertainers? Where are the people with these platforms? Why aren't they speaking out? But then it's the other side of it, where it's just like, man, I see you speaking out, but man, I hope you ain't just just doing this for the money. So it is a slippery slope, and only time will tell. They still talking the same language, and if they're actually building, and actually putting their assets, and using their platform to continue to build and actually provide some solutions, because it's going to happen within. It's going to happen with us in order to get those solutions, not teaching people how to do it for us.
Right.
Rae, anything you'd like to add to that?
I mean, I honestly, they hit the nail on the head, and I'd like to just piggyback off of Sam with, us doing some work that doesn't necessarily look like what we always do. Because we are the ones, while we're entertainers and event producers and so on and so forth, we're also the ones that have access to certain resources and certain people and certain things. And so we are also the ones that have to do maybe some different type of work that doesn't always look like making sure we're entertaining people. Yeah, that's my take on it.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I can't really, I can't DJ the way I want to DJ right now. Virtual stuff is not, it's fun for some people, but it ain't where I'm at.
So that being said, how have you guys been able to maneuver? Like I said, all you guys are have a really high entrepreneurial spirit. How have you guys been able to maneuver, still do what you love during this challenging time? Sam, I know you have the Midnight Hour series. Could you speak on that real quickly?
Yeah, so I mean, it was really about just responding boldly to the times. I think that when we were talking about pressure earlier, I didn't speak on it, but I do think that pressure is usually self-inflicted, and it can be good or bad. And I found myself in a depressed state because I wasn't performing, and I didn't even know that that's why I was depressed until like maybe a month or two in it. Like I said, I've been doing this for 6 years, and so I was like, all right, it's 2 days before May. I'm gonna go live every midnight in May, and just wanting to respond to the times and also give people what they needed as well. There were so many folks who were like, man, I just need this, man. This is such a blessing. And then also it's kind of turned into a community, you know. They're not just watching me perform, but they're actually talking and interacting with each other. And that just became such a beautiful thing that we created together. And since then, you know, they were like, we want shirts, you know. So I have been able to start a shirt business through the midnight hour by us having our own shirts, you know, and things like that, you know. So there has been some positive things that have come out of it monetarily, but the whole idea of it was just to really connect and really be something positive, you know, something even a relief as well, not just positivity, but a relief from all the stuff that we go through on the daily. And then there's always that group of people who are hanging out online late at night anyway, especially in these times, you know. So thought it was just a good move.
Yeah, Sam, I was able to catch the midnight hour. You went live last night.
Yeah.
Happy belated birthday, by the way. I saw your birthday was on the 15th, so a happy belated.
Thank you. And shout out to Rae Chardonnay, my fellow Leo.
Birthday was on the 10th.
Leo, happy belated. How does a Leo celebrate their birthday during COVID, Rae?
We celebrate all month, first of all, regardless. We celebrate all month. It's interesting just to like tie into how I've been celebrating, but also how I've been finding myself as an artist and space maker in this quarantine. Is like the pressure is real. And so when quarantine and COVID first started, I was like, man, you know, I'm gonna do some mixes. I'm gonna get on the live a couple times, whatever. I did that, but then it just started to feel like I was moving for the sake of moving, and doing for the sake of doing, and not really feeling very intentional and connected to what I was doing, which is not how I move normally. And so I did a very short mix series called Work From Home, and it was just kind of like some down tempo, chill stuff to listen to while you working from home, or if you winding down for the night. But then I got really just like, man, you know, I've been going really hard for like 10 years. And I mean really, really hard for about 10 years straight. And so I know that I have a ton of other interests. I have a lot of hobbies that I love to do that I haven't gotten a chance to do because I'm working every day in the summer. I'm working every day in the fall. And so low key, like I take gigs as they come. I'm blessed to like have the support of friends and family because they know it's tough times. But swear to you, G, I just feel like I've been chilling. Yeah. But like in a good way, like chilling, like kind of restructuring what it feels like for me to play music for people, restructuring what it feels like for me to dig for music. I feel like I haven't had much time to dig and like recollect my library and stuff like that. And so I've been taking a breather in a way. I've been and recalibrating and recentering myself and regrounding myself. I went on a very long hike. I went on like a week-long nature hike because I just wanted to be outside and be one with, you know, whatever. I ain't trying to get too deep on that, but it was I didn't want to feel pressured to do something that I didn't feel drawn to do. And so I took a break on the mixes. I took a break on, you know, going live and all that stuff. And I just had to sit back. But I was partially engaged with a lot of the protests and stuff that was happening. So that was another way that I was kind of like just functioning and showing up differently in the city without music at the forefront, but still community at the forefront.
And Tony, before you add in your 2 cents, just to piggyback off of that, Rae, that seems to be a reoccurring theme just between kind of you three. My panel discussion for tonight is that most of you guys spoke to my producer, Tony, who's been doing a great job. Shout out to Tony. And most of you guys have mentioned that at the beginning of the pandemic, most of you really kind of felt the need to kind of turn it off for a while. Tony, was that your sentiment as well? Have you felt the need to take a break, or has this time kind of pushed you to create more? Has the creative juices been flowing? What's kind of been the most challenging for you during this time, man?
Well, I think for me, it was more so about being more responsible. Like a lot of times people want you to use your platform a certain way, but if it's COVID, then like, you know, I'm just trying to show that I'm not out here reckless, right? And if it's protest, I'm not necessarily trying to drop 2 projects because I'm trying to not to do something that's so self-serving. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, check out my project, check out my new video. Now, that's just my personal preference. Some artists, they have to keep moving. So they got to keep dropping. They got to keep, you know, doing stuff. And maybe that helps their fan base, like, get through whatever. I know my fan base wanted me to drop stuff. So I did kind of, you know, start getting the wheels turning a little bit. But I just wanted to set the tone, like, for the people that follow me and rock with me to, like, kind of just be responsible during this time. Because so many times we can get antsy and then, you know, God forbid, you know, something happened to you or a loved one, you know. So I ain't really want to send the wrong message. But as far as being inspired and, like, being able to create, I'm a guy that I move around a lot, man. I travel a lot. I love to travel. I love to be like go and like see art exhibits and museums and all of that stuff. So it was hard for me to really get inspired at first because you know, it was kind of like being in jail minus the bars. You know what I'm saying? I remember I saw like a Tupac interview, and they asked like, had he been writing a lot? And he's like, no, I'm in jail. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of felt like I couldn't be like in the element that I wanted to be in. So, but I just took that and I just tried to show like my fan base or anybody that was interested in following me, just like the other parts of me. Maybe that's not just as an artist, but as a man. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's like I said, being socially responsible or, you know, how I'm taking care of my fam, or like even just investing and showing them how to like make other money. So that way, you know, to get kind of help get rid of that stigma of like starving artists. Like, I'm totally against all that. Like, I don't believe in that. I believe like you should, you know, educate yourself so that way you can make sure you're making at least a livable wage, so that way you can give the best form of your art that you can. So I want to show more so that side, and not just putting like a few bars in a couple, you know, songs or something like that. So I want to showcase that through like interviews and like posting on my social media about it, and, you know, hopefully inspiring people during this time to be not only socially responsible, financially responsible.
Party Noire is giving back to Chicago creatives. Rae, can you tell us more about the Film Noire grant? Am I pronouncing that right? Noire? Am I putting the right?
Noir. It's just noir.
Noire. Am I putting the right point? Okay.
Yeah, Film Noir grant. It's a grant that we've been running for the last 3 years, and this year it obviously just looks a little bit different because of a response to COVID. And it's a very kind of like simple application process. It was created to just kind of give back to the Black women that were giving and pouring into us constantly. And so the grant specifically is for Black women identifying queer or otherwise, but actually Black gender nonconforming folks, really, queer or otherwise. In the first 2 years, we issued out 2 grants of $500. This year, we've been able to raise $5,000 to issue out micro grants anywhere from $100 to $500. And so we are definitely still taking donations for that if y'all want to slide some coin, and we will start our distribution process very soon.
Yes. Well, that's awesome. I'm going to go back to Sam. First of all, Sam, congratulations. For all of you that don't know, Sam, the Black Star Film Festival is premiering Unapologetic tonight virtually, where Sam did his first movie score. Correct, Sam?
Yes, this is first.
Wonderful. Can you
Yeah.
just tell us what working on that project and finishing this project and seeing everything come to fruition feels like for you?
It feels good. You know, it was, I feel like I came in at the tail end, you know, and shout out to Morgan, shout out to Ashley O'Shea for reaching out to me and believing in my ability, you know, to make it happen. But they've been working on this film for, you know, over 4 years. And I came in around, I want to say October, so it hasn't even been a year. But it feels great, you know, just seeing the product as it was being, you know, created and updated. As we're going and making these small adjustments, you know, for, you know, the purpose of the big picture. It was amazing. And also to get a glimpse of Janae and Bella Boz's life and just really understanding their intent and understanding their drive and their passion for what they're doing, and what they're doing is amazing. So yeah, that was great. Yeah, this is my first time doing pretty much participating in a full film scoring. Though I have had some other things with films. This is my first time actually saying, "Hey, I'm a composer on this project."
That's dope, Sam. Real quick as well, tell us about Vibrations. How do you promote something like this during the pandemic, please, Sam?
Yeah, so we we haven't been doing anything for this year. It's just the timing of it all. We normally promote from maybe January through about October, and then in October we'll have like an anniversary show where we bring all the artists that we promoted through our online platform, which is usually Facebook and Instagram. We usually promote an artist a month, and so we'll take all those artists and we'll put them on one stage for one night. It's always a free show, and we always do raffles and giveaways. It's always a big deal. But after that show in October, we normally take a break. And I personally was like, I need to take a sabbatical at the top of the year. And so at the top of 2020 on January 2nd, I was out from the 2nd until the 14th. And I feel like I just never went back fully. So Vibrations actually hasn't come back. But speaking of Navy Pier earlier, when you're giving the wrong report, Vibrations actually had the opportunity to be a part of the Shy Soul Fest the last 2 years. And that was such a big deal for us, which was, shout out to Sheila. She's part of the Midnight Hour crew. She's one of the
Shout out Sheila.
But yeah, Vibrations is an organization that I helped co-found. And that organization pretty much came from this group of media folks, audio engineer and cinematographer. They were like, yeah, we shoot other types of music, but we want to get into like more soul, more original artists, and we would love to just get you in the studio. And I did 2 songs with them. Maybe like a week later, they sent the video footage of the live in studio recording, and they were like, yo, here's what we came up with. And I was like, yo, this is dope. They're like, yeah, whenever you want to get back in, we can do some more of these. And I was like, man, if y'all down, man, I know tons of artists that need some content, you know? And so we met at a bar and actually came up with the name and the whole concept and how we was going to do it. And here we are 3 years later. So hopefully after, you know, things kind of settle down, we can kind of reestablish a new program for Vibrations. We actually did have some ideas, so we can just hold on to them until maybe 21.
My man, Tony Cartel, last time I saw you, brother, we were at the Silver Room block party.
Woo! Yes, sir.
All right. And you performed for us. That was the last time I saw you, man. And I know performing is a big part of what you do. You put on a great show, by the way, man. What have you guys done? And Tony, I'm gonna ask you this first. Sam, you just said you guys aren't really doing Vibrations, or you're not really a part of it anymore. But are you guys interested in doing any sort of shows soon? Virtual events are big. You guys have been watching the versus battles, on Instagram. Have you guys thought about doing anything online coming up soon, maybe, Tony?
To be honest, virtual, I'm not really like, I don't know, like I'm not a big fan of it personally.
You gotta get the people what they want, Tony.
I know. Like, trust me, I'm battling past all like my personal, feelings about it, and just knowing that, I got to connect with the fans. So my manager, he's working on some things, and we're gonna put something together. I just got to get a little bit more comfortable with it. I think, as far as like not feeling like I'm just rapping to like a screen or something like that. But I actually did like a slight rehearsal, like to kind of like figure out if I could do it. So it wasn't as bad as I thought. So it's something coming soon. I'm not gonna lie, I was banking on us kind of like getting like through this thing a little bit better, but that didn't happen. So, we're gonna see something virtual soon.
Tony stuck in his old ways.
Man, you know what it is? Well, because I know I'll be watching something.
I feel you, Tony.
Huh?
I said I feel you. Virtual is strange.
Because look, I know when I'm watching something, like I end up going in the other room, like like even if it's like a well-known artist, like if it's something going on I don't like, I end up skipping out for like 10, 15 minutes. So it would just kind of mess with me. Like I think somebody really watching me, and they like.
And to be honest with you, the only thing I've been able to watch are those versus battles. They're the only thing that's been entertaining me really as far as music goes. I tried to watch Khalifa. I tried to watch Wiz Khalifa put on a live concert. It was horrible. And I love Wiz Khalifa, but just with no crowd, I couldn't get into it. And he's an artist I've been listening to for 10 years now. Before we go to the rest of the panel, Tony, I just wanted to touch on Toast to Culture. I sent you off the last time you had one in Chicago, man. I was supposed to show up. Can you just tell us about Toast to Culture, man? Tell us a little bit about what you got going on and if we'll ever see that again.
Yeah, so Toast to Culture was, more of an intimate concert experience that I infused art. So we would feature like like an up-and-coming artist, or sometimes even like a mainstream artist, where people could come experience art and hip hop in the same building, just to kind of change like the narrative of like hip hop, like it's all just big concert festivals only. Like I wanted to have something where you could kind of like appreciate Black and brown art and also hip hop. And I feel like with hip hop being probably like just the biggest music genre, that we have to use our platform. We have to use this momentum that we have to kind of shed light on culture. So just to make sure that mainstream America is not just, able to bop to the music or dance to the music or sing along to the music without getting the full experience. So I want to bring that all together, have, Black vendors and stuff to come be a part of that, showcase art, because I'm a art lover and collector. So it all stayed true to the project that I put out. And, just kind of like give a different experience. So I did it in LA on Juneteenth, the previous one, obviously. And then we brought it to Chicago, and we had plans to take it New York, Miami, and, London and stuff like that. But of course, COVID hit. It's definitely something that I want to keep going. It's not just for me. Like I plan to like have other artists come in, and, if it fits the mold, like if it makes sense, like just continue it on, like with different artists in different regions, and.
Yeah, I would even suggest you hire a host who's really good at hosting.
Yeah, hey,
might have somebody in mind for you.
I'm gonna let you know, man. Like we taking some resumes, what I'm saying? You at the top of the list.
That sound like a shameless plug.
Hey, I gotta get it's hard times, Rae.
I know.
So Rae and Sam, we'll get to you, but Rae, how have you been able to adapt? Can we see you? I mean, you say you don't like virtual events. Can we expect anything from you in the virtual world soon to come? Maybe, possibly.
Yeah. I'm gonna do some things. People still enjoy booking me, thankfully.
Amen.
Still sought out here.
Amen.
That's nice. So it will be some things, and I think similarly to what Tony was saying, like I just needed to find some space to feel inspired, you know, and just like a little bit of a decompress, a recentering, and then like feel inspired again. And so I've been feeling inspired by music. I've been feeling inspired to make some sounds, to dig for new music, to make new music. And so I do think that I will start re-engaging with DJing on live and different virtual events. I did before they decided to shut down the promontory, or not the promontory, before they decided to shut down Navy Pier. I did do their Pride event. I had on a mask, you know, everybody there had on masks. People were practicing social distancing, so I felt pretty comfortable with it. And then, of course, at the DJ booth, there's just a whole lot of room. So yeah, I'll be doing some stuff. It might take a couple more weeks or whatever, but I'll be doing some stuff. I'm feeling re-energized and charged up, you know, and maybe less depressed about COVID and quarantine. Just really overall more inspired. I think personally, I can tell when I need to step back and take some time away from the things and the people and the energy and stuff, because that's how I revitalize myself, and that's how I'm able to be the best me for everybody else. So now that I've had that time to kind of do that, I feel a little bit more inspired to, you know, do the late night live stream or whatever it is, midday lunch, or make a mix for people to listen to for the week when they're working from home, or whatever it is. I feel a little bit more inspired to continue doing those things, and maybe even making, you know, virtual community spaces for some of our Party Noir community members who are interested in virtual spaces. But, you know, time will tell. Like Sam said, time will tell all of that. I don't force nothing. I don't force anything. And so I wanted to feel very, very clear, intentional, and good to my soul before I commit to it, you know?
No doubt. You said the promontory closed. I was going to be mad myself.
They're not closed.
I was about to say, when that happened?
Y'all know I love the promontory. That's my spot.
I missed that one. Oh no.
No. Don't quote me on that. It's false.
Sam, you've been doing the Midnight Hours series. You said you were going to do it every week this month for your birthday. I saw that. I caught a little bit of it last night. You were putting the beat together. It was dope. What can we expect from you in the virtual world coming soon, man, with the Midnight series and everything else?
Yeah, so I've been starting to get, I have been doing a couple performances here and there. I recently did my first of two pop-ups with the Hot Park Jazz Society. And so I did my first one at Boxville a couple weeks ago, and I'll be doing something this weekend as well on Saturday. I'll be performing at Shy Village Festival. It's a mini festival that's happening there. I'm going to be doing just a solo set as well. What up, Mimi? Yeah, that's another family member right there from the Midnight Hour crew.
And and Sam, if you don't mind if I interrupt, there's no doubt you've created a community with this Midnight Hour series. Can you just speak to that? Yeah, so it's amazing what happens when people come together, and there's like, I don't know, like molecular damage that's happened, from us just being enclosed and quarantined by ourselves. Like, we need each other. Like, we're not on this earth to be alone, so it's amazing what we created together, and yeah, the Midnight Hour, they requested for another month of shows of going live every night, and I'm trying to figure out when's the best time for that for me. But as often as we can see each other, we are there. We are, I got Superphone now, and actually the Midnight Hour move, like the move to do the Midnight Hour
actually prompted me to get Superphone, which allows me to engage with my fans from the midnight hour and beyond straight through the phone, just like I would through social media. And it's been a blessing to be able to connect on an even deeper level beyond the midnight hour, with being able to say, here, hey, the shirt's available now. Here's a discount code, or hey, I saw that your shirt got in today. You know, how's it fit? You know what I'm saying? Just being able to like personally connect. But yeah, I mean, as far as live performing, I've been a full-time artist for 6 years. Like, this has been something I've been doing in many different ways for the last 6 years. And so I have 3 different acts that I have two different bands, and then I'm a solo act as well. And just to clarify, you mentioned Shybrations. Shybrations right now and has been a platform for other artists. So it's just something that I'm curating and just providing a platform for other artists. What I do as Sam Trump, this is with the Soul Vortex right here. That's one of my bands. We have our own things. But what has kind of prepared me for this moment is being able to do solo sets. You know, like there's a thing called a looping station or a looping pedal where I can make a beat with my mouth or with my OP1, and then I can layer on top of that and put some horn on that, and then maybe get my ukulele and put some chords over that, and maybe play some chords over that, and then maybe sing a song, maybe come up with something, maybe ask the audience, hey, how y'all feeling? What y'all want this song to be about? You know, or what tempo y'all want to take it to? Y'all want to go faster? You want to go slower? And we kind of just, you know, they watch me develop these vibes right before their eyes, but it's a joint effort. You know, we're doing it together. And so I think mainly for me, you know, this musical journey, especially for these last 6 years, has been mostly about just like trying to find ways to engage more and make people happy, you know, just making people happy, putting those vibes out there and allowing them to manifest into something good, you know, beyond.
Sam Trump has a new single out entitled Village, correct, Sam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, and we'll go Rae, Tony, Sam. How can people get in tune with your work? If there's any projects you just dropped, plug them now. Rae, how can the people get in tune with you?
Instagram, my website, RaeChardonnay.com, spelled just how you see it on the screen there. RaeChardonnay.com, Instagram, Rae Chardonnay, or email me or join my email list. I try to send out mixes once every 2 months or so. I definitely don't flood you. RaeChardonnay.com, Rae Chardonnay on Instagram. Hey, Rae Chardonnay on Facebook if that's your vibe. If you on Twitter, that's cool, but you don't have to follow me on Twitter.
Hey, Tony, how can they get in tune? And, you know, guys, Tony has some of the dopest merch, like for artists out here. And once again, this is a shameless plug, Rae, because I'm still waiting on my Cosa Nostra.
I got you. I actually got you.
Yeah, I'm waiting on my Cosa Nostra hoodie. Tony, go ahead, plug the people with you.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm easy to find. TonyCartel.com. Social media, Tony_Cartel. That's for Twitter and Instagram, and, you know, Facebook, just Tony Cartel. You know, I'm not bougie or nothing like that. If you DM me, like, I love to connect with people, and, you know, just you know, like, we could chop it up even more than about just music and stuff. You know what I'm saying? What I do, I consider more like a lifestyle thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, the music is just the soundtrack. You feel me? So
yeah, guys, Tony's cool. You think he's bougie, but he's really not. I mean, when you look on his page, when he's eating brunch,
that ain't bougie. I'm sitting over here like that ain't bougie.
Tony's still finding brunch spots that's open during COVID. I don't know how he does it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I got brunch. Look, I
got
restaurant list. You know what they following the guidelines properly. You know, I've been eating good. I mean, it's been expensive as hell, but you know, I've been eating good. So yeah, no, I mean, I'm easy to find, man, on all those platforms and stuff like that. And, you know, oh yeah, hold on. All the music is everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Tidal. I prefer you streaming on Tidal. They give you a little bit more. Just Tony Cartel.
Price, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Sophisticated Trapper Tony Cartel. Thank you guys. Sam, how can they get in plug with you, in tune with you? Sam has a new single entitled Village.
Yes. First, I gotta say, man, I'm really honored to be here with my fellow panelists. Tony, it's been great to get a little bit more get to know a little bit more about you, because I've definitely heard your name. And Rae Chardonnay, I texted her like last week or 2 weeks ago, and I was just like, yo, I was looking forward to seeing you. I'm so sad we got to wait a little bit longer. But I just want to say thank you for the invite to be a part of this, because this is amazing. But y'all can find me everywhere at Sam Trump on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I got a website, samtrumponline.com. My new song, Village, is currently just on Bandcamp and SoundCloud right now. It'll be everywhere in about a month. I'm trying to get on some playlists, so that'll take some time. But yeah, that's how you can find me. And if you want to check out the Midnight Hour, you can stream that exclusively on Facebook. Just look up the hashtag The Midnight Hour. And for the month of August, I'm on there every Wednesday and Friday night at midnight Central Standard Time. So come chill with us.
Come chill with Sam, The Midnight Hour. That's like on some Keith Sweat, The Midnight Hour.
Hey, yo, I made a joke about that one time.
Whispers in the dark. Which is Thanks so much for my panel. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Rae, Tony, Sam, thank you guys so much. Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you so much, Rome. Y'all have a great one. Blessings. Thank you to the tribe. Thank you to the tribe.
Yeah. Shout out to the tribe, man.
Appreciate you guys. And now I got a chance to speak to Nate Marshall. Here's Nate reciting his poem Landless Acknowledgement from his new book, Finna.
I'll do this one. Landless Acknowledgement. Before we get started, we would like to acknowledge that we live on some unceded bones. Sometimes me and mine imagine ancestral homes. All I got so far is Montgomery, Alabama. Maybe a boat, maybe a plot of land somewhere so far from the south sides I've claimed that I would get lost on the way. I admit, sometimes my homies talk about their families immigrating and I get jealous. We lost the land we were custodians over before I was a twinkle in the eye of a twinkle in the eye of a twinkle in the eye. Closest I got to a homeland is my mama's Caucasian pitch on the phone calling the police. Closest I got to a homeland is not never calling the police. Closest I got to a homeland is my daddy's laugh in a spades game. Closest I got to a homeland is my lover's tongue talking or otherwise. Closest I got to a homeland is the funk under a DJ's needle and my handful of a dance partner. Not to be dark, but I am. Not to be dark, but the planet is on fire. Not to be dark, but they move in capitals because the water is coming up. Not to be dark, but our bones are in that water too. Maybe that's my capital. Once the polar capitals melt and there's a whole lot less land for folks to buy and sell and steal, maybe everybody will feel a little more dark, will feel a little more homelandless like we do. Why you think I call my compatriots homies? Maybe ain't no home except for how your beloveds cuss or pray or pronounce.
Dope. Thanks again, Nate.
No, thank you.
Wow. Still have chills. Nate dropped so many gems in the conversation we had yesterday. Be on the lookout for our conversation on the Tribe's YouTube channel. You can cop Finna online at your local bookstore or online at bookshop.org. All right, you guys, I'm Rome J, the host of We Real Chicago. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. If you have any questions about the show or want to reach out to us, you can hit us up at connect@thetribe.com. You can find me on Twitter at @TheRomeJ_ and on Instagram at @RomeJ_TV. Hit the like button and subscribe to our YouTube page. And last but not least, make sure to visit the scene at thetribe.com to see what's happening in and around Chicago. We'll catch you guys next Thursday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay real, stay safe, Chicago.